Aloha! Welcome to the Friday coaching jam session. I'm Tom Gaddis. I'm coming to you from the beautiful, I'm in the Encore building of the Wynn Resort and Casino. You can see the Wynn building over my shoulder. There's the Sphere. Look at that. $1 billion right there over my shoulder. Over $1 billion right there over my shoulder. You can see the Sphere in the background. I'm down here for a couple of days just to kind of decompress before the craziness of my oldest daughter's graduation kicks in. But I would not miss my Friday with you. So today we have a great call lined up. We're actually going to be bringing one of our very own sharks on, Diane O'Brien. If you have seen anything that she's been sharing in the Facebook group or the school group, she has been crushing it with selling premium listings on her Smart Directory site. In fact, she sold, I think, 5 premium listings at $149 a year before her site was even live. And now that her site is live, she's been killing it. She sent me a message the other day. Her business partner sold 15. You heard that right. 15 premium listings in a single day. And they're selling them for $250 per year. So we're going to bring Diane out. We're going to talk about how she got into this, what she's doing. We're going to talk about her strategy here. She's going to share what she's doing. You'll be able to ask questions and get feedback from me, from her, all that stuff. So good to see everybody here. With that, let's give a great Offline Sharks warm welcome in the chat for Diane O'Brien. What's up, Diane?
Hey, everyone.
Yeah,
this is great. Awesome. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing fantastic. I meant to ask you before we got on here, is it cold in Massachusetts right now?
Well, right now it's 81 degrees.
Oh, yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good.
We go from winter to summer. There's no spring.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny. It was that way in Michigan. Like there was very little spring. Here we get about a month of nice, like cool weather before it gets excruciatingly hot in Vegas. But well, hey, listen, I'm really super excited to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on and being open and willing to share and talk about what you're doing with other people in the community. Because I know, like, I mean, for me anyway, you know, when you see other people out there doing things, and sometimes when they're the people you're learning from, it's easy to think, yeah, it's easy for them, but right. I couldn't do that, right? And so I think it's great when other people come on and share and just say, hey, look, you know, we're all just regular people. We're all just making our way in this entrepreneurial maze, but like if we take the actions and we do the things, we can do it. So really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, why don't you tell people, so how did you get into digital marketing? Let's start there.
Well, ours is a very unique story. I was telling you just a little bit ago. My business partner and I, we actually started as an accounting firm. And we have a background in accounting as well as in marketing. And we had so many of our accounting clients, they're all small home service businesses. They were always asking us questions constantly. We're like, well, maybe we should start a marketing company. So that's why we decided to have both. And our first marketing clients were our accounting clients. And then we found that we started to branch out. And then I met up with your company through another partner of ours, and which was awesome. And so I've been following your things right along. And then when I ever found out that you were running this directory, this is the ultimate thing to get your foot in the door, people. I'm telling you, we walk in, when we're talking to anybody, I can give you an example for me. I happen to be with one of my accounting clients, and all I'm doing is to go get my bill paid. And so I walk in and I'm talking to him, and then in walks somebody that is the next door. Well, she owns a med spa right next door. So she's like, oh, so what do you do? So I started talking to her, and come to find out she needs help with marketing. She doesn't know how to do anything. So I told her about our directory listing, and she's like, oh, I need that. And she, at that time, we were $149. And I said, nobody's even thinking about the $149. Maybe we should rethink this, because especially when we're going to give away so many things free as part of the package. And again, this is a foot in the door. This is not to get ultimate rich on, directories, because this is to lead to bigger things. So anyway, when I was talking to the med spa, she's going to need advertising such as Facebook ads and, you know, a whole bunch of promo videos and things of that nature. So then I was in just the other day, and I ran into a moving company who came in to go pitch my client for his moving services, because it was a property management company. So I said, hey, do you need marketing? He goes, as a matter of fact, we do. I said, well, here's the thing.
Right?
Right. And I said, well, here's the thing. We have this new thing that we're just putting out. It's brand new to the market. It's a directory just for people in Massachusetts. Are you interested? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I'll put you down for a free listing, and then I'll give you who's the person I should talk to. So he gave me the guy that I should be talking to. And I said, perfect. I'll put you in. We'll give you a call. So then I get on the phone and I talk to the person. I said, hi. I'll say, Tom, this is Diane from What's the Mass Directory, exclusive to Massachusetts businesses. We created a free listing for you and wanted to be sure the information we have is correct. So we just assumed that they were interested. Yeah. Then, and since it's a new directory we'll launch, we're giving the first 100 businesses that upgrade to premium a blog post each month for 12 months, which is $900 value. Could account on you to be one of our premium members. And they always come back and go, what, you're going to give me a blog post for free? Well, yes, if you upgrade, we'll definitely do that. So then they're like, wow, that's pretty good. Wait a minute, you said it's how much? How much it is to upgrade? Now, I've never even mentioned what it was.
Right.
I tell them it's $250 a year. That they're like, wait a minute, what? I said, yeah, less than a cup of coffee, you know? And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, sign me up. So they don't even think about it. Now, on our site, we have something that's $50 and $250. Well, the reason why there's such a big difference, like $50 times 12 is over $600. Who's going to pay that? That's crazy. Now, we set it up that way for a purpose. We are accounting people. I don't want to have to go chase money. Yeah. And if somebody doesn't see instant results, what they had in their mind that they're going to get so much traffic and all this good stuff just by having in there, they might cancel over the course of the year as the year's progressing, even after, you know, we gave them everything that we gave them up front. So that's why we always say, well, do you want to pay $600? You want to pay $250 today? You're
really pushing them to go for the yearly. That's really what you
always
want. We don't really want them to be in the monthly plan.
I don't want to be in the collection business. You know, that's not what
well, it's interesting that you say that, because Nick and I have kind of always done it that way as well too. Like we never pushed a monthly type income. We always want to do the yearly, because again, the collection part, and we're doing a lot of stuff up front. And again, it's our foot in the door. I want to go back to a couple things, because there are a few really golden nuggets in what you said there. So I just want to make sure we pull them out and everybody appreciates them. One was, first, like, there's opportunity in so many places that you visit and where you go. I know you mentioned being in your client and then in the storage company. I remember one time I sold a premium listing standing in line at the bank, because the guy behind me happened to be a handyman. And we just started chatting, and he was like, oh, and I was like, oh, I have this directory for Hawaii. And he was like, I'm in. And so, like, always remember, like, what, you know, and this is what I think is another underrated thing about the directory and what it really allows you to do is you don't have to feel bad about talking about it. Right? Like, I know when I'm talking about like marketing services, sometimes you're like, you don't want to sound pushy. You don't want to sound salesy. You don't want to be that, like, you know, we all have that image of the person that just got into the new business and now they're trying to convert their family and their friends and everybody they talk to. And you're like, you see that person coming, and you're like, I don't want to talk to them. Yeah. What's so nice about the directory is it gives you something of value to talk about that isn't about you. You know, it's not about me. It's about the community and the area and the businesses. And so I don't have to come into these conversations, or we don't have to come into these conversations hot. We can just come to them and like, oh, well, I run this little local directory. And I mean, it positions you as such, somebody trying to do something good for the community. Right. And like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, I wish, you know, a lot of people even think, wow, I wish other people would do that. Or how come somebody hasn't done that before? So that ability to use the directory as your starting talking point, I think, is super, super powerful. The other thing you did there too, and with your script, which I thought was really, really good, is, you know, the follow-up. Awesome. Like, so many people try to skip that part, but just picking up the phone and calling the person up to make sure everything's good with what you're giving them. Again, it does not feel like it's not a cold call or a sales call or anything like that. It doesn't feel that way. It feels very, very different. So if you've ever been afraid about, talking to somebody on the phone, this really like takes that out of there. But the thing you said about assuming that they're just going to want to do it, I think is really, really great. The free blog post idea is awesome. And the way that you frame it by saying, we'll send you a free blog post every month. That's 12 blog posts. That's over a $900 value. Like that right there is already getting the thing up. So let's step back for just a minute and talk about what do you offer in the premium package for $250? What do we give them?
Well, we have everything that is that you listed on your thing, where you have your reviews, your business hours, your company logo. You can put extra links in your social media. You can put the video in. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but and then I know soon we'll have image slideshow.
Yep.
And then the extra links. I'm looking forward to that, but I say that it's in there. Then we have obviously the Google Map. They have a blog post, and here's the thing: we will set them up. So once somebody says, yes, I want to move forward, we will set their whole thing up for them. So this way, because a couple of people ask me, oh, is it SEO optimized? Because they latch onto keywords that they hear out in the industry. And I say, oh, well, that's perfect. That's not a problem. We will make your listing totally SEO optimized. We will make sure that your blog post, the first one that goes up, we will make sure that it's optimized, unless we're the ones writing it for you all the time. And then anything else that you put on your site, we'll optimize it out for you. And then we also give them a featured article, which I know that you talk about a lot in your thing, where you interview the business owner and then create a blog post around that. We do that as well.
Real quick, the blog post, because I see somebody asking here, do you write the blog post, or are you using AI to do it? Do you have somebody in your team do it? What do you
it's a combination, because we have different prompts that we use that do put into AI, but we also then put it through something. So this way, there's a readability score. We also want to make sure that their AI detection tools can't find it, because if they can, Google doesn't necessarily always like that, unless it was written by Gemini. Gotcha. If something's written by Gemini, it scores higher than something that's not, which is very interesting.
Well, that's interesting, because that's a Google product, right? Exactly. Maybe tipping the scales in their favor a little. Hey, well, for those of you in the comments that asked this question too, a couple of was it last week? Gosh, I don't know. My Fridays are running together. We did a training on here called Premium Listings, Premium Clients. I think it was last week.
Yes, it was.
Which would be a great training to watch after you watch this. You can find it on the YouTube channel, because I talk about how to use AI to build the blog posts and things like that. Now, I don't really go into running them through tools to make sure they're not AI detectable and all that stuff. So you kind of have to just figure that out. But that is a really good idea to do as well. So
I do see some people asking, what's my site? It is what's in mass, which is spelled MASS.com. And if you actually look at our own listing, which happens to be Digital Marketing All, you'll see I've actually written a bunch of blog posts. You can see it actually on the homepage as well, I believe. At the very bottom, I've written a bunch of blog posts that we try to keep it updated.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me show you, guys. So here is, I'm on the pricing page, because I was going to show this, but I'm here at what'sinmass.com. Yep. These are the plans. We'll talk about this here in a second. Now, I'm on a very, because I'm traveling, I'm on a very small screen. So that's why the menu looks this way, because the menus are dynamic, right? As different screens and things people look on. So the reason why it looks this way on my screen is because I'm on a very small screen, because I'm here at the Encore Hotel down on the Strip in Vegas. But this is Diane's site, and you can see this is just the very foundation setup. Here's her blog posts, things like that. Now, a couple of things here, and I wanted to talk about this in the pricing part, Diane, because you mentioned that, you have this $50 a month here. And the reason for that is because we really don't want people taking these monthlies, right? And you can see here's a list of things that are in here. Oh, I see that you, gotcha. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So yeah, $250 annually and monthly.
And just so you understand what the psychology is, I actually wrote a blog post about this. When you're trying to sell something, you always want to show them the most expensive things first. So if they want the $50, you say, well, you can have $50, but it actually translates to $600, but I can give it to you to $250 today for the whole year. And the second you do that, they're going to think $250 is nothing.
Yeah. That's great. Hold on. Let me see. Where is my, here we go. I'm not used to working on a single monitor. So I'm like, where's my stop share button? Like I'm all of a sudden out of whack. Okay. So, all right. I think we clarified a lot of things there with the, one other thing that I don't think you mentioned about the package. So we talked about the blogs, the featured articles and things like that. But another thing you mentioned to me was a video you do.
Well, yes, we do a 20-second promo video for anybody that's on the premium. And so what they can give us any type of thing that they want to promote at any one time, and we will create a one-time 20-second promo video for them. And I don't know if videos can actually be put on the site just yet, but as soon as they are, we'll upload it for them.
Yeah, I don't think we have that quite yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And, I think this is one of the things that I really loved about what you're doing, Diane, is that you haven't let any of the tech side of things stop you from just like barreling ahead. Like you're just like, and so like I've had some private messages with the Diane and stuff, and because I'm like, I saw what she's doing, I'm like, I want to make sure that you have the things you need, and she's like, what about this? What about that? I'm like, look, I'm like, and this is to me, this is what's so interesting is because this is how Nick and I were when we got started. Is we were just like, it is just like full steam ahead, and we will figure all this stuff out. Because there wasn't another option, right? Like, and I don't know, that's, the reason I bring that up for a lot of you on this call is because I think that is an entrepreneurial mind shift that you just have to develop over time. I know, like when you're first starting, because I know this is how it was for me. When I was first trying to branch out into entrepreneurship and start a business and all those things, I had no confidence in my ability. A lot of the times I just felt like, oh my God, at any minute, somebody's going to show up on my front door and they're going to be like, is this where the fake Tom Gaddis lives? Like you have been outed. Like we know what's going on. We know what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, because, a lot of times like clients would ask me questions and I'd be like, let me find out the answer. And then I'm like on Google, how do you do this? And then I'm like, yeah. And then I come back and I'm like, hey, I talked to somebody and blah, 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 blah. So, so that's normal. Like I used to think that there was something wrong with me for that maybe I didn't just have what it takes to do this. But what I've discovered over the years is everybody goes through that phase. Everybody has those feelings. Even the most successful people that still have them and definitely had them in the beginning. So don't let that stuff slow you down. Just embrace it, keep moving forward. And what happens is over time, because you face challenges and you face problems and you solve them and you get through them. And if you don't, you learn from them and you're like, okay, well, we know not to go down that road again. It's like that confidence in yourself builds over time. It's not just going to happen overnight, right? It's not just going to happen. So
the best part is because of this whole thing, we're starting with a product that in essence, you're giving away for free. You're giving a free listing and you're actually lessening the resistance when you say it's free. We already set it up for you. I just want to go over what information you have. So
it's already there. Like it's not going away, right? Like it's already there. It's already like, and I think this is a key psychological point that a lot of people miss in the directory, in the smart directory method, and especially the prospecting method. Because we were talking about this before. I told you how irritated I get when people ask me, well, how much traffic does your site get? Like, because I just like that, like, so Diane and I were talking about this before. So how many businesses have you talked to so far, Diane?
Oh God, I can't even tell you. I
probably
myself and my team, it's been hundreds. I mean,
a couple hundreds. Yeah. How many of them have asked you how much traffic your site gets, even at selling a listing for $250?
I think there was 5, and all of them were people that have some sort of marketing background.
Right.
Nobody else even asks.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like
last thing.
yeah, it's like a non-issue. And I know I see Dorn in the chat, and Dorn can tell you this too. Well, I remember one time Dorn told me, like, the people that ask me about traffic to my site are the people I don't want on there. He's like, the minute they ask me how much traffic does it get, I'm like, yep, see ya. We're just gonna move on to somebody else. Because he's like, they are never gonna turn into a paying client. And I'm like,
or they're gonna be a client that you don't want because they're gonna cause you too much aggravation for what they're gonna pay you. It's not worth the time. And I don't know if you find this, Tom, but I know for us, those that don't have a lot of money are the ones that are really a pain to work with. Whereas those that have a lot of money, they're easy to work with. So, if you put your foot in the door and you see if they start balking over $250, you're not going to be able to upsell them anyway. So just move on because there's so many businesses out there.
Yeah. And I saw Bill is asking, so how many, I don't know if you know this number off the top of your head, but I know you said you approached some of your already existing clients with this. How many people have you brought in that weren't clients before that you've just kind of brought in?
Actually 25, but the reason why
25, we're not already
on our site yet because I know we're working on the payment button, but because one of the questions that came back was, why isn't your payment button working? And then we're like, oh, well, hey, it's a new software, we're working on it, but here's our payment link. So we're waiting for them to, because now we have to go track them down again to get the payment.
Yeah. Well, and I've been talking to the devs about this because apparently the devs set this up in a way where it was like they needed to pull some information, and we're like, why do we don't need to pull that information anyway? So we have them working on that fix. But and this is another great example of not letting the tech slow you down, because Nick and I have been using this directory method for a very, very long time. And when we first started doing it, we had no payment integration with our directory site. And so we used Square invoicing, and we would just, when somebody said, yes, we want the premium listing, we just said, great, we're going to email you a link, click the link, sign up. And we just invoiced them through a third-party tool. And we just did it. So I know that's what you're doing now. In the meantime, while we're getting it fixed, I saw there's some things going on in the background. So we'll have some updates on that here in a minute.
Awesome. I will tell you that I happen to be on a call about something else today, and the person happens to be selling life insurance. They're struggling and whatever. So, thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that.
That's how fast we operate around here, folks.
It's awesome.
That is how fast we operate around here.
My team will be thrilled. But so I was just talking to somebody just not too long ago, and he's in insurance business, and I was trying to help him with his traffic and so on and so forth. And I said, I know this is a personal question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because that's just the type of person I am. Do you get paid a commission only, or you also get sales, a base salary? He's like, no, I'm straight commission, and I'm really struggling, blah, blah, blah. I said, you're really good at what you do. I said, I have this, and he's originally from Massachusetts. I have this directory listing, and, I'm looking for more people to reach out to people. I said, so if I, end up paying you $50 for every premium you brought on, would you be interested? He goes, absolutely, sign me up. So he's going to start selling for me, to get the premium listings going. So that was really awesome.
That's great. And, I think that is another golden nugget here that gets overlooked, is there are salespeople out there in your area that probably work for radio stations, TV stations, newspapers, that probably wouldn't mind a little extra income. And sometimes you can get those people to pitch your little thing in addition to the things that they're already talking to businesses about. So they're already reaching out to businesses to try to sell them radio ads or print ads or TV ads. And if you're like, hey, look, I got this little thing, you just throw it in there and this is what we do. That can be a great way to find somebody to come on to do the selling for you. Also, to always look at your competitor. So, our sales rep at Mina Marketing, Megan, she worked for a competitor, and things went sour with the competitor. Actually, they didn't really go sour. What happened was the agency that she worked for got bought. So the owners cashed out, they sold it, they got bought. The new people came in. Megan was not very excited about the way the new things were going.
Sure.
But here's what she had seen. She had seen HawaiiThrive.com, and she had seen what we were doing on the agency side with like selling clients. And so she actually came to us and was like, hey, I see you guys rank for Maui SEO. I see you've got this directory thing. Like, can you tell me about what you have going on? I'm looking for a new home. And like, that was how that thing kind of came to be. So yeah, those opportunities and things are out there. And of course, also too, you can post for salespeople. I find it like, I like the setup you're doing there with, if you're like, hey, look, the directory is $50 a premium. That's very, very simple, right? Like what a lot of people don't realize is, I know the dream is you're just going to find a person that can just go do all the selling for you, I
wish, but
yeah, but like that person, I'm going to tell you right now, does not exist. So really good salespeople need a really good foundation system in place to be able to do their job. And really good salespeople expect the people they sell for, and I'm not going to say this politely, they expect you to have your shit together.
Exactly.
So they expect you to know exactly what your packages are, what you're like. They're not a salesperson is not going to figure any of that stuff out for you. Like you have to have that stuff in place for them, and the materials and the marketing materials and then they have to have confidence that you can deliver on what they're selling, because that's their reputation on the line. So a lot of times when you're brand new, that is just an unrealistic goal to think you're going to just find somebody when you're brand new that's going to be able to sell for you. Instead, that's why we use things like the Smart Directory method, so that we can prospect by not having a salesperson, and we can do it with a lot easier follow-up, right? Like when we first started doing this process, we did the calls ourselves, right? Like we would call up all the listings and be like, hey, we just want to verify, and we wanted to give you a courtesy call, all the things that we've done trainings about in the past, and you'll find in your Smart Directory members area. But eventually we just hired somebody for $15 an hour to do that stuff for us. And it worked like gangbusters, because like
wouldn't cut it here.
yeah, well, they just follow a simple script, right? Like it was really, really easy. So, that is a much more achievable goal of getting help with the selling versus a full-time sales rep. So we went from us doing it to we had this other person doing those calls. Then eventually we brought on a full-time sales rep once we had all of our stuff out together. Let me check a question here. This is from Chandra, who is here in Vegas as well. Chandra says, Diane, is your local directory, Diane's is just focused on the Massachusetts area.
Yep.
Right?
And our goal is, since we bought the unlimited, our goal is to start state by state by state and see how many we can create. But we're starting off with Massachusetts first. Well, the next one we're doing is Maine, because that's where our other office is. And I can tell you right now, for us, home services and restaurants are the easiest people to get on this, because they need help. And, like, for example, I went into a restaurant that was bought out by somebody else, and the reputation of that restaurant was really, really bad. Well, I went in, and I was lucky enough that the owner actually seated me, and I sat down and talked to him, and I said, hey, buddy, you need some help. Can I meet up with you? And I also want to get you in this directory that I told you, and I went through that whole thing. And he's like, oh, yes, come in next week. And it was great. So work with the area that you know first. That's what I always say. And then from there, branch out. Like for us, we have home services, we have restaurants, we have, health and wellness. And let's see, I think we have, I want to say entertainment. I can't think off the top of my head. And then, we also have where people can actually post things to do. Because in Massachusetts, if people come here to visit, that might not be the same for every location. And then what we did was we broke the state down by things that people would understand here. Like, for example, we have the North Shore, we have the South Shore, we have the Cape, we have Western Mass. And this is funny, and only those people over 40 that know Massachusetts would understand. But we have had people say to us, why do you call it MASS? Why not just MA? Well, Massachusetts, for all our years that I'm growing up, it was always MASS. The mailman would not deliver anything with just MA. And so that's why it's set up the way it is. But it's a conversation starter that gets us going. So,
yeah, that's great. Here in Nevada, when you go to get your license changed over, they have written on the wall in every DMV, it says, real Nevadans pronounce it Nevada. If you say Nevada, get out.
That's funny.
It's like they even tell you like on the things. That's funny how regional areas have little places, little quirks like that. Yeah, well, I think your recommendation there, starting in your own backyard, that's something we preach very regularly. I think that is really a great thing to do as well. And then you said something else there that I was going to comment on, but now it escapes me.
Oh, well, what somebody just asked, who do I choose to give free listings? Well,
right.
What I do is I find, first, this is like the lazy person's way, but I mean, I used your method on ChatGPT, but I also used Grok, and I scraped, who can I find the business owner? Where can I find the person's name? And I start with those people first. And then I'll add people that I have to go find out who the person's name is. Because you can't always find that first, but I, try to find enough that's in each region of Massachusetts. So this way, when somebody starts to look at our site, they'll see that they're not the only ones in that area. So that's something that we're, building out. The North Shore has tons of people right now because that happens to be where it is. My directory site is what'sinmass.com.
Yeah, you can find it in the comments too, I believe, and yeah, you can find it there and take a look. Yeah, and and this whole thing that you're doing with the quick, I mean, this is like what we had in mind for Smart Directory AI, right? Like this is what the process should look like. We should be able to get up and running, start getting some listings, doing things like that. Was there did you have a reason behind the 250, or did you just double your 150 price?
No, actually, I just woke up at 3:00 in the morning and said, I think we should charge $250.
Let's just do 250. Yeah, right. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. When you were talking about the people that you look for, the services, the restaurants, the things like that. If any of you missed the walkthrough Wednesday training that I did this past Wednesday about how to create all your lead lists with AI, like how to use AI to make your lead list. In that presentation, I talked about ideal client profiles, the types of clients you want on, also the starting with the end in mind type of thing. And you and I were talking a little bit about this in chat because, and I think this is an interesting thing to bring up as well. If you don't mind this, if I tell about this whole conversation we had about the sales part. Diane mentioned to me in the chat, she was like, we're doing really great on selling the premium listings, but sometimes my people that are reaching out, they struggle with selling a higher ticket service on the back end. And, do you have any suggestions as to what might help with that? And, one of the things she mentioned is, I know in your, what are the services that you offer in your agency?
Well, we offer SEO, we offer websites, we offer something called the search box optimization. Let's see, we'll do social media, and we can even put somebody on TV. So it really depends on what somebody's budget is. We do everything. But when you're dealing with some of these smaller people that, they're just a mom and pop place that you're walking into, think about your local auto repair. You don't know how big their budget is. So what we're trying to do is we want to be able to help those people at the same time as still helping the bigger folks. So in our agency, we're actually split in two. We have some of our people that only deal with large clients, that are well-known companies. And then we have our small business entities where salespeople, that's all they focus on is the small guys. And, we'll work on whether it's a social media, we'll work on, running Facebook ads, finding what the budget is, how many leads. One of the quick questions we always ask is, how many leads do you need this month to make your overhead? And then they always come back and tell me, this is what we need. And then I say, okay, well, how are you going to do that? And a lot of times they don't know. And I'm like, well, what if we told you we had a way of getting you whatever you need? It would cost you X. Can you see how maybe one or two clients would actually pay for that? And then they're like, great. And then we break it down so it's small bites for them. And then from there, they'll move forward. But
yeah, that's a great approach. I know and Nick and I face the same issue that you're facing here when you have other people that are talking to clients and trying to sell them things. Is like, yes, you have all these services and it's very hard. Like when it's you doing it, like when it's me talking to a potential client,
Mhm.
I know the process of like trying to figure out, well,
Right.
what, like, I know that my job is to figure out what this person needs, not like what I have to sell. Right. And that's the difference in thinking, right? Like as a marketer, I know it doesn't matter what I have to sell. All that matters is what is the problem that the person needs solved. And
Exactly.
if I can figure out the problem they need solved, then I can tailor what we
Mhm.
have to solve that particular problem. That, however, is pretty advanced. Like that is not most people do not know how to do that. And so when you're working with like appointment setters or other people like that,
Mhm.
people that you're bringing on to do these things, the secret is you have to take all of that out of the equation. And really it means in the beginning that you have to have them just focus on selling one thing. So
Exactly.
you
Or you
just
have
say,
to have, or you have to have black and white packages, which I mean, we don't
right,
have anything's custom
right,
based on what the client needs. And people always say, "Oh, so what are your packages?" Well, we don't really have any because it's custom. And so
yeah.
I don't know if you run into that as well.
It is a challenge, right? It's a challenge because
Mhm.
like it is because you have to the person has to find out why that's the case, right? Like
Mhm.
I always use the analogy of the house, like look, it's like marketing or building a website or SEO or whatever it is. It's just like building a house. We
Mhm.
can build an economy model that
Right.
like gets the job done, but it's like, or we can build one in the nicest neighborhood in the area, the biggest house on the block. Like it really just depends on what kind of budget you have, and then
Right.
we can figure out what we need to do, right? But yeah, we
Exactly.
do face that as well. So if any of you out there are struggling with those kinds of things, my recommendation to you, and especially if you're new, would be pick one thing that you're going to sell. Only add people to your directory that need that thing, so that you always know the person that you're going to be talking to needs the thing that you're trying to sell. And
Mhm.
then, and again, I talk about this in the training that I did on Wednesday, how to do this part. So you guys can go and watch that if you want to get the details. But, and then then as you get comfortable with that, you just add another thing on and another thing on
Mhm.
and another thing on. So it is really easy to look at like our agency and think, oh, well, you guys have, 5 different things you offer, so I need to offer 5 things. Well, we didn't start by offering 5 things. Like we've gradually added those over the years of building the business. So, I don't recommend that you do that either. I don't think you should have to come out doing all those. So, really, really, really awesome stuff. Let me go to a couple questions here, and then we're going to do some shark shout outs. So if any of you out there have questions for Diane, put them in the chat. Also, there's 153 people on here, but I don't see very many likes or little hearts in my thing here. And Dorn, don't give me an angry face, but come on, give us some love on this stream. Hit some likes, hit some thumbs ups, give us a little bit of love here. I see all of you out there. Okay. I see all of you out there. John, you can find it on YouTube. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Dorn, I thought about you yesterday because my wife and I, we came down here to stay for a couple of days, and we didn't realize that this is Electronic Dance Music Festival week. It's called EDC. And so like our room, the nightclub, is literally like right out this window. And so all night till 1 a.m. was like dance music. I was like, oh, all right. Well, we got a little club action going here. Okay, so let me scroll through some of these questions here real quick, and then we are going to do some shark shout outs, and we'll get some questions here. So let's see. Here's one quick question, Tom. If you're sending a blog to the biz owner in addition to directory, doesn't have to be different. Keep the SEO from reducing. Hi, that's probably a good idea. I kind of talked about. I can't remember.
You did on Wednesday.
Maybe it was on Wednesday. I talked about this about there. So I do think there's something to be like. You can also, because Diane was mentioning getting the value of the package up, right? And I was also talking about this the other day on that call, because this is another answer to the, well, what if like the traffic question to a directory site, right? Because look, if I come to you let's just say you're a random person or a business owner, and I came to you and I said, hey, I have this listing and it's $250 for the year. Like, it might be a logical thing to think like, well, am I going to get any business from that listing? But if the thing that you're buying is not necessarily the listing itself, that question disappears. And so when Diane was talking about getting the value of the premium package up, you're getting the value up with things that are not a direct result of the listing. So a blog post is a great example of that, because a blog post is what we call an activity-based service. Like, they're buying a thing. The thing that they're buying is tangible, right? It's not like a result. It's not like I'm going to get you on page 1 of Google where, like, well, okay, if you're not on page 1, then you're not doing your job. A blog is like a thing that somebody has to create and send to them. So there's an innate perceived value in that you're just going to write a blog. They know for them to write a blog, it's a real pain in the ass and it takes some time and they don't want to do it, right? So like, there's a value in that to them. Creating the video, a little 30-second video. We do that just by using Canva templates and just adding images from their business and putting them in there. Really easy to do, but still, that there's a built-in value in that the person sees. They don't know how to create a video like that. They don't know how to do that part. So these are valuable things. Aside, even if they weren't part of the premium package, they would still be valuable. So the person looks at that and they go, oh, well, they don't think, oh, for $250, I'm getting a listing on this directory. They think like, oh, wow, for $250, not only am I getting a listing on this directory, but I'm also getting this, 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 and this, which are way more valuable than the $250 I'm going to spend. And so they never think about traffic, because traffic is a part of a blog post or a video that we create or something like that. Like, maybe we're optimizing their Google business profile for them or something like that. So to circle back to your point here, I mentioned on that training, like, you could up the value by offering to send them 2 versions of the blog post. So one we will post on our directory site, and one you can post on your site. And to your point, the Hive Insider, yes, you would want to make those different and unique for that purpose. So, but that's another way where you can say, look, not only, well, in reality, you're getting 2 blog posts, right? Which could be even more valuable.
And can I just add one thing to that? When you're writing your blogs, make sure that you're writing to the 5th grade level. Sadly, that is the average reading level in the United States. And Google will like your accessibility on that a lot more.
Okay, so do them to a 5th grade level, right?
Yes.
5th grade level. Okay, awesome stuff. Blue, that is one option. So you could either just write a blog post that you only post on your directory, or you could actually create 2 posts, one that you put on your directory and one that you give them to post on their own blog.
Which then you add double your value when you're posting.
Right? Yeah, you're doubling your value, and it's just as easy to make 2, because if you watch the training, we're using AI to do that. So like, it's not like you're spending a bunch of extra time to do that. All of that stuff. Oh, I know I meant to talk about this a little earlier and I forgot. So let's talk about this for a minute, because we do get this question a lot when we talk about the premium listings, and that's about the fulfillment of the annual premium listings that you have on your site. So it is not all fulfilled in the listing. So let me just go over a couple things here. So I'm going to go on our Hawaii Thrive site and just talk a little bit about these down here. So most of the, here, let me share my screen. Let me do that first, so that you can actually see what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to share the Hawaii Thrive theme. Okay. So you'll see our pricing. And this is another great example that there is no one right way to do this. There are multiple strategies that can work effectively. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a different pricing strategy with 3 price points. That, one way is not necessarily better than the other. Just figure out what works best for you and the people that you're marketing to and selling to. But let's just talk about these things down here. So most of this stuff, when someone buys this $99 annual plan, most of this stuff is part of the listing, right? Now, the business description, we use AI to make an optimized business description, which basically looks like, let me go back and just show you one. So if you look at any of our kind of like premium listings on our site, you will see this is like what I do as an optimized business description. And I actually did a training on this where I showed how we use AI to do this. So you might want to look that up if you have questions. But so I used AI to create this and put this in. All of this other stuff is just like you just fill this out for the listing, right? And the blog posts, I did those as well using AI. So
quick question, Tom. When the video will be up and running, where's it going to be on the site?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I wish I knew the answer to that.
No
Cameron will be a more person that has a better answer for that. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff like Google Map, this is all set up inside the directory site itself, right? Now, these items here, like the featured blog post, the news article, online visibility report, Google business profile. So these, we use AI to create these articles. This online visibility report, this could be any type of software that generates like a marketing report that shows you where you need help online. So there's a lot of different tools out there that do it. High Level has a built-in thing called the High Level Prospecting tool. And that's what we use for this. We just put the business into that. It creates a nice PDF report with their online presence, a bunch of other things about their SEO, their tech stack, their page speed, whether they have a chat widget or don't have a chat widget. So that's what this is. So I just run them through that to create it. And then the Google Business Profile optimization is something that we do separately, right? We do this separately. And the video that Diane was mentioning, for us, we just use Canva. We use like Canva templates to do that. I know, Diane, you have kind of like a custom tool you use for that.
Ours is all internal.
Yeah. But we have like we do like a Canva, just use a Canva template or any other, a lot of video creation tools have like templates that you can use to make those little videos where you just add stuff.
Also, I think
Dorn says I'm illiterate. I thought your parents were married, Dorn.
Also, ChatGPT has a new video component, so it'll create videos.
Oh, well, there you go. ChatGPT has a new component there. All right, so we need to do. Oh, Shushan, wait, let me see. Hold on. Let's do some shark shout outs. If you guys have any last questions for Diane, pop them in the chat. We're going to do an accountability check-in. We're going to do some shark shout outs, and then I'll answer any last questions, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. So first of all, a big shout out to everybody in the Offline Sharks Insiders School group. This productivity accountability check-in post, I look at this every week. This is awesome. This list has been growing. So fantastic work, everyone on this list here, of putting in what you're working on, what's still outstanding at the end of the week, what your progress is, and just holding yourselves accountable to continue to move forward and take action. And it is no surprise that the people on this list typically are the people that show up in the shark shout outs and things like that. John, so the prospecting tool is here. Let me just show you this real quick, and then we'll get back to our shark shout out. So let me share my screen here. And it's this one. So this is our directory sub account, but for the prospecting tool, you have to be in your agency account. And if you just look, like when you're in the agency account of your High Level, you'll see like the fourth one or the third one down is called prospecting. When you click on that, this is the prospecting tool. So you add a prospect and you can run reports, and they look pretty nifty. So, all right. Okay. All right. Let's do some shark shout outs. Okay. We're going to remove those. Let's do some shark shout outs. We love to celebrate the wins in our community. So first up, Michael, he launched his SmartDirectoryAI site last Friday after the exciting jam session. Awesome. Woo, that's a good feeling, right?
Good job.
Yeah. Tell me, Diane,
Yes.
did you feel the pressure of selling 5 listings and then setting your site up? Was there some pressure there of like, oh crap, now I got to get this thing set up?
When I was talking to other people, I didn't even think twice because I was so motivated after the thought of having it. Yeah. And then as I'm talking to them, I'm like, oh crap, I got to go home and actually put this together.
I got to do it, like, right?
So yeah. It wasn't anybody else that built it. And I'm like, okay, I've got to figure this thing out because I am not a tech person. I know just enough to make me dangerous like you, Tom. So yeah. I just mumbled through it and, here we are.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's a person in our community who's also in Hawaii who has been like trying to find a great way to approach businesses for a long time. And he messaged me and he was like, oh my God. He's like, I talked to 2 businesses and both of them told me, yes, they want to be on my directory. He was like, this is like a game changer. Like, it was just such an easy conversation. He was so through. And, oh, by the way, Dorn is right. You can actually already have the prospecting tool inside the sub accounts, but it's a little tricky because it charges, like it's made for you to resell it to your sub accounts. Mm-hmm. So you just got to make sure how you set up your pricing or you're charging yourself, but I can't go into detail on all that, but you can get it in there. So awesome work, Michael, on getting that Smart Directory AI site out the door. I've seen several people in the school group and in the Facebook group posting that their sites are live and all that stuff. So awesome work, everybody, getting that stuff going. John added a new SEO optimized service page to an existing site for an existing client.
Nice.
$200 euros. So that's $225. Awesome work, John. Oh, look at that nice beach picture in the background there. I love it. Chris, $1,300 website refresh for an existing client. Yeah. Chris and his wife have been killing it. Chris also, Diane, Chris, you have another company, right? You have 2 businesses, right? Your CPA and your marketing agency. Chris actually has a full-time job as well. Wow. And he's been building his agency and just like going crazy on the side too. So awesome stuff. Michael closed a $1,500 deal via a sales partner for an e-commerce website.
Nice.
That's great. Michael, that picture right there, if I should get an image like that for the EDC, that's the Electronic Dance Festival thing right there. That'd be good for that. Randy and Jocelyn, who I just got a message, are currently here in Vegas for a week as well. They closed a $7,500 website redesign and a potential $6,000 SEO, PPC, and social media through an organic inbound lead. The client found their website on Google Business. Client's willing to pay $10K for SEO, PPC, and SM if they can get him faster results. So nice. Awesome stuff. That is a grand total this week of $10,525 for the week of May 10th through the 16th. So since the start of 2025, you, the people in our community, have generated a total of $578,334.43 in closed business. So give yourselves a big pat on the back.
Awesome.
Big hurrah. That is awesome stuff right there. Fantastic. So, and by the way, if you have your wins, please post them in the group, in the Facebook group. Even the recurring ones, a lot of times people post the first one and then they forget, but they're getting paid every month. So post them in there so we can track that stuff. We love to do that. John says, Diane is my hero. I still get stuck on the stick. Yeah, well, John, look, I'm with Diane. I'm like the least techie person on our team. People are always messaging me like, how do you do this? I'm like, dude, I have no idea. I'm like,
I can tell you most of the support tickets are from me.
Like, go over there.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Dorn sold $90 of Canva stuff.
Good job,
Dorn. I saw somebody else, Brian Arrington, earlier in the comments said that he sold a SaaS subscription. So I think he white labeled his high level and made a sell to that. So he had just gotten off the call. So Chris, that's a great question. I don't have time to go into the details of this here. My recommendation to you would be to just Google Business Profile Optimization. Maybe check out a site like Moz or Search Engine Land News. You'll probably find some good articles there that'll give you the basics and the gist of it. Frank the Tank says, excellent. Seeing out Jeff sets each years. Frank, when are you going to be in Vegas? Frank is coming to Vegas pretty soon. We're all going to be in Vegas. Diane. So,
well, I'll come visit.
Yeah.
Next time I'm there, I'll stop by.
Yeah, I think we should do a big event here and just have people come in and all that stuff. But
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Awesome stuff. Well, look, Diane, thank you so much for joining me today, for being so open and sharing. And it's awesome to see the progress, the success you're having. I know you said you're going to send me an email. Did you send me the email already?
Yes, with a couple of questions.
All right. I haven't seen that yet, but I'll take a look. And then, if you guys have any questions for Diane or anything like that, just post them in the Facebook group and make a tag now.
I'm in the school group as well.
Yeah, we're in the school group as well. But please realize that Diane is busy. And so, give her plenty of time to answer you. And don't be mad if she doesn't, because she's got a lot going on. So, but it is really great of you to be willing to come on and share all that stuff.
Thank you.
One more thing before we go, I want to give away some Cash App money. And I know we still have not figured this out, but I know Patty gets mad when I don't do the money. We used to have this money song, but it does this copyright thing on YouTube, I don't play it. We're still working on getting another one, Patty. We're still working on getting another one. But let me share my screen. If you guys can do me a favor, we're going to give away 2 $25 Cash App tags. All you have to do is put in hashtag recurring. Put in hashtag recurring. And I will spin this up. I'm going to let this go here. If you, I see we have one entry. What if I just spun the wheel right now when there's only one? Oh, there they go. There's 10. Also, please, if you're in the Facebook group watching this, like it. If you're on the YouTube channel, like it. Hit subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We do have, we do this coaching call every Friday. Sometimes I have a guest. A lot of times it's straight training. After our thing last week on premium listings of premium clients, I thought this call with Diane today was going to be a great follow-up to that. But we've got all of them on the YouTube channel. There's a playlist for the walkthrough Wednesdays there's as well, if you want to find those. Lots of really great continuing education and training on the Smart Directory system, how we're doing that, how we're selling things on the back end, all of that stuff. It's all out there, right? So check it out. All right, I'm going to spin the wheel for our first $25 Cash App winner. Goes to hey, Sandy Alexander. Congratulations, Sandy. And our next Cash App winner is bum, bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. I am doing all those sound effects myself, by the way. Hey, Jason Roberts. Congratulations, Jason Roberts. So here's the way that works. You can just share your Cash App or PayPal email with our team, and we'll get you $25 in Cash App money. Do that by going to offlinesharks.com/support. Just let us know you're a Cash App winner. If we don't hear from you, somebody from the team will reach out to you as well. All right. Look, that's it for today's live show. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and hanging out with me today on this really nice day. I'm going to go hang out on the strip for a while. And Diane, again, really thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And looking forward to seeing all the success you have in the future. Until then, everybody, stay safe, practice aloha. We'll see you next week. Same shark time, same shark channel. Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.